Welcome ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take a look at the new item sets from Morrowind PTS. I also have other content related to Morrowind on my website. I will put the link into the description. Remember, this is still the test server, so things might change till the update goes live. So this is just the first impression. Let's get started. I will talk both for PvE and PvP just to give you kind of an idea. Maiden set, this is light armor overland set. Health, magical spell damage, and then it gives you 400 spell damage to your magic damage abilities. Now here there is 2 or 3 things you need to note. It probably works same as Silk of the Sun, which increases fire damage abilities. That probably means the 400 spell damage are flat. They cannot be boosted by like spell power pots or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure, so that has to be tested. Because whenever something applies to certain abilities, it's usually just a flat amount. That's why sets like Burning Spellweave are better than Silk of the Sun. Because Burning Spellweave, for example, can be buffed by spell power pots. Silk of the Sun can't, at least last time we checked. Now PvE wise, decent set, best definitely not. PvP wise, this could be a very strong set because this boosts your soul assault, like especially on a Magical Templar. Blazing Spear, Punching Sweeps, Jesus Beam, then the Crescent Sweep or Empowering Sweep ulti. There's a lot of magic damage abilities for a Magical Templar. So it could be a good set. However, we know Morrowind will be very resource heavy, resource management heavy, so hard to say whether it will be used or not. Plus, it is light armor. It's basically almost the same as Soulshine, just kind of better, because it's light armor, which means the jewelry will be arcane. We have the Defiler, medium armor, weapon damage, crit. When you deal critical damage, you have an 8% chance to summon a hunger that spew. I can't pronounce this, okay? Poison to all enemies in front of it, dealing 10k poison damage and stunning any enemy hit for 5 seconds. They have a 5-second cooldown. Now, PvE wise, I'm not sure. It might be a good set. Depends on how big the radius is, especially for AoE fights. Single target probably not, and we all know proc sets cannot crit. However, 10k seems to be still a lot, and this 10k probably can be buffed by Mighty, so it will get another 10 to 15% increase. But yeah, we will see. I will test it. Maybe it's good, maybe not. Don't know. PvP, however, this seems kind of way too OP because the thing is, it only has 8% chance, but we all know when you look at Valkyne Scoria, it has, I think, a 4% or 5 or 6, and it procs so much with only 1 or 2 dots applied. So if you have 2 dots, this will proc so easy. And you see, it shoots poison to all enemies in front of it, dealing 10k poison damage and stunning any enemy hit for 5 seconds. So it's just a proc set with AoE stun. This seems insane. I'm pretty sure this will get adjusted till it hits live because it seems too strong. Like, I have to check how big the radius is. We'll see. I will probably do a video on this, because this seems to be a very interesting set. Sure, it has a cooldown, but I don't know, it's kind of seems too strong. Warrior, Poet, heavy armor. Now this has health, spell resist, physical resist, gain minor toughness at all times, increasing your max health by 10%. Now, this seems kind of an underwhelming set, because physical spell resist, it's usually around 1.3k, that's it. And this only gives you the buff. It doesn't say it gives the buff to your group. Like, if it would function like Eben, then sure, it actually could be nice. But I also think minor toughness, you already get that from the Warhorn. I'm not sure if it's the same buff, but I do think so. So it's basically useless, I guess. Maybe I could be wrong, but who knows. Both for PV. I don't like in PV you have Ebon Armor, you have Warhorn, so like you're not gonna use this if it's the same buff. If it was a separate buff from Warhorn, then this could actually be very nice if it would apply to your group too. Because then you have Ebon, you have this set, and you have Warhorn, which would give you a lot of extra health, which you probably will need in the new trial. PvP wise, sure you can stack more health, but the other bonuses are just, like the 3 and 4 piece bonus are just garbage. Crafted sets, Assassin's Guild. Spell crit, weapon crit, spell damage, weapon damage. Increases the duration of your alchemical poisons by 4 seconds. Now this is a very weird combo. I think it's intended to make hybrid builds more viable. Spell crit, weapon crit, spell damage, weapon damage. Like, just seems weird. Because I don't know. Like, if they had combined spell critical plus weapon critical, then give it something like a health bonus and combine the spell damage and weapon damage, it actually might be not bad. But like this, it kind of seems not good. Like, it's just a waste to have like spell and weapon critical, spell damage and weapon damage. Kind of weird. Sure, for a hybrid build might be nice, but I don't see how hybrid builds would be any better than their one thumbnail, but maybe I'm wrong. And then the 5-piece bonus, like, it increases it by 4 seconds, but you still have a 10 seconds cooldown between each poisons, right? So, I mean, sure, it's nice to have 4 seconds extra, but you can purge the poisons, you can cleanse them, so, like, you could get them 100 seconds, but it's still, people just cleanse their shit, so this set is garbage. Don't see how... Daedric Trickery, max health, max stem, max magicka. While in combat you gain 1 of 5 random major buffs for 10 seconds every 20 seconds. Major Expedition, Protection, Mending, Heroism or Vitality. Now this actually seems like a very strong set. PvE wise, not that good. PvP wise, however, Expedition is speed buff, so 30% extra speed. Protection is 30% damage reduction. Mending and Vitality, I don't know why both are in here. They both give you, I think, 25% extra healing received. Or I think this is healing done and this is healing received. I'm not sure. And we have Heroism, basically doubling your ultimate generation. So this set actually could be very strong. The only downside is it's RNG, right? But still, seems like there could be some really nice builds with this in PvP. Shackle Breaker. Weapon damage, spell damage, stem recovery, magicka recovery. Then we have 2k max stamina and 2k max magicka. Now this set actually could be nice. Like, before I said this sucks. And now I say this is good. Why is this good? Because most builds use stamina and magicka recovery. So this is actually nice. And now you also have... Oh, okay, here, yeah, the 4-piece is both spell and weapon damage. Okay, okay, I get it now. Miss Goosey, I kinda overlooked that, I guess. Yeah, okay, okay. So it's weapon, spell damage, and then the 4-piece bonus is stamina and magicka recovery. Okay, same here, spell damage, weapon damage. Now, this kinda looks like a replacement for the... What was it called? Trainee set? Almost, more or less. This actually could be very nice. Like the 2 and 3 bonus, not that much, but 4-piece bonus and the 5-piece bonus seem very strong. Probably, like, PV wise, useless. PvP wise, probably could do some pretty nice builds with it. Then, I mean, the only downside is like spell damage, weapon damage. Sure, it's nice, but I would rather have like maybe a health bonus or a magicka and stamina. Well, there is already a magic and stamina, so maybe a health bonus and something else. I don't know, but I guess it's fine like this. Battleground set. So Battleground is the new PvP mode, like 4v4v4 that will be introduced with Morrowind. Wizards Riposte, Light Armor, Max Health, Spell Damage, Magic Recovery. When you take critical damage, you apply Minor Maim to the enemy for 15 seconds, reducing their damage done by 15%. Actually not that bad, but you can get the Minor Maim from other sources like the Sword and Board, Skill Tree, and I'm not sure if you can cleanse that, so rather a weak set. I'm not sure, maybe give it a try, I don't know. It's not AoE, so it's like, well, it's when you deal critical damage. It doesn't say it has a cooldown, so if it doesn't have a cooldown, it might actually be pretty strong, because it kind of puts a AoE Minor Maim on everyone if you crit damage, but not sure if it only applies to one target or several targets. Have to test. Night Slayer, Light Armor, Max Magicka, Spell Damage, Max Health. Your fully charged heavy attack against players deal an additional 10% of their max health as Oblivion damage. Now, Oblivion damage, they almost removed that from the game, I think. This is like Oblivion damage can't be mitigated, so I think whether you have a shield up or whether you block, it always does the same damage. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Now this set only seems to like deals an additional 10% of their max health, so if you have a dude that has 70k health, so I think this is kinda here to counter those heavy high health builds. If you have a dude that has 60 or 70k health, you do 10% of their max health, so that's like when he has 70k health, you do 7k damage with a fully charged heavy attack. I'm not sure if it can crit or not. If it can crit, you could do like 10 to 14k damage on a dude that has 70k health. On the other hand, I'm not sure. Like, does it work on the shock stuff? Like for PV it's useless because it says against players, right? And PvP wise, if it works on shock heavies, because if you all know, like a shock heavy attack, you can target the person and then it kind of channels your heavy attack, and in the end you have splash damage and everybody that stands close gets hit. So does this work on all targets that get the splash damage? Then the set might be very freaking strong. Because even if you only have like 25k health, it still does 2.5k damage. And to everyone applied, it's basically a free dot. So I'm not sure. Might be something to test if you like heavy attack builds. So yeah. Powered gear. Max health, stem rack. While sprinting, you gain major expedition and major protection, increasing your movement speed and reducing your damage taken by 30%. You get 30% speed buff and 30% damage reduction. Now this might be nice for a mode in Battlegrounds, but it is a very defensive set. Again, PV useless, PvP, I don't know, like, you're not gonna sprint while you fight. And nobody wants to run away from fights. I mean, I guess it's a nice idea, but I don't see it to be very useful. Vanguards, challenge, heavy, max health, healing taken. When you taunt an enemy player, they deal 50% less damage to all other players, but 100% more damage to you for 15 seconds. This seems to be very OP. Now I wonder whether you can cleanse that or not. So let's say I'm a circling. I taunt the enemy player. They do 50% less damage to all other players, but 100% more damage to you. Now, this set, I mean, it depends how the visual indicator is. Like the person that gets debuffed, if you see the enemy glow like a Christmas tree, then I guess it's fine. But if there is not a big enough visual indicator and it's impossible to see who applied the buff to you, then this set seems a little bit OP. So I really hope it has a really strong visual indicator, like the dude is glowing red or blue or just something. So you see, okay, this dude debuffed me heavily, so I'm just going for him, because 100% more damage is insane. But also the other dude does 50% less damage to anybody else. So the only option is you have to target that dude. If you cannot find him because there's no visual indicators in PvP, then you're screwed. If he glows heavily or just something that shows it's this dude that debuffed you, then I guess the set is kind of fine. But yeah, we will see. Impregnable Armor, all. So this comes in medium, heavy and light. Oh, there is a max health, max stam, magicka, and adds 2.5k critical resistance. Okay, this is interesting. Now we all know they aim the battlegrounds to be non-CP. So most people in the no CP campaign or in the battlegrounds when they're no CP, spell crit or weapon crit is rather low, because you don't get the extra 12% crit from the champion points and all that set. You need more recovery sets, so you can't boost your crit. You can't use the Thief Mundus Stone because you need magic or stamina recovery Mundus. So for no CP, not that useful for the champion points campaigns. This might be a very good set. On the other hand, it only buffs you, and we know there is a transmutation set that does a similar thing. But you could potentially, with this set, a healer running in PvP the transmutation set, and we know champion points are more front-loaded. So you can easily get 2k crit resistance. So you can get like 6k crit resistance very easy. I think maybe 5 to 6k. Which means if somebody does critical strike you, he will deal less damage than with a non-crit. So this could be a very tanky combo that you could do. But yeah, I'm not sure whether it's worth it or not, but just an idea. PV completely useless because monsters don't crit. Trial sets. Now, let's see. We have the Inventor's Guard. Magic recovery, gain minor Aegis at all times. This is, yeah, the minor Aegis, reducing your damage taken from dungeon and trial monsters by 5%. Okay, this is the healer set. This is this one. When you use an ultimate ability, you and the closest to allies within 28 meters gain major Aegis for 10 seconds. Reducing damage taken from trial monsters by 15%. This is basically the same as the heavy armor. Just this is in heavy armor, this is in light. Now, I don't think this is a very strong set because Major Aegis is nice, but it's so RNG who gets it, and it's only for 2 players, so it's like doesn't matter, like whatever, it's useless. Okay, PvP it doesn't work because it only reduces, like all trial sets only work on monsters in dungeons and trials and Maelstrom. Then we have the Master Architect. This is the damage dealer. Minor Slayer, like always. And then the 5-piece is, when you use the ultimate ability, you gain Major Slayer, increasing your damage done by 15% for 10 seconds. Medium armor is basically the same. Now, this Major Slayer buff can be very freaking OP. Because we already did some tests, and like, if you have a very cheap ultimate like on a Templar, the Crescent or Empowering Sweeps, you can almost get the 50% uptime on yourself. That's 15% more damage on yourself and 2 allies for 10 seconds. That's insane. Maybe this will get slightly nerfed, because I mean, it's nice because it can make Stamina Templars, for example, really strong again, because they have a cheap ultimate. So, like, a Stam DK that uses Standard, not that good, because you probably only will get like a 20% uptime. But for a Stamina Templar, Crescent Sweep, or I'm not sure which one was it, the Empowering Sweep, which is physical damage now, and it does nice damage. Maelstrom daggers, axes will probably not be used anymore next patch, unless they change something with the recovery, which I do hope so. So this seems to be very strong set. There's even some Zorks even started using Soul Assault to get this buff, just to try. I mean, just to try it out, because you don't have any weavable anymore. Like, Force Pull is gone most likely if nothing changes in the recovery department. But again, I really hope so. I will do a separate video about resource management later. So yeah, those could potentially be very strong, and it might make classes with ultimates that have a low cost very, very strong. Plus, you give this buff to 2 other allies, so it's 3 people that get the 15% damage buff. And if every player uses this set, you probably get close to 100% uptime, like on 15% more damage. So maybe scrap all the high cost ultimates and everybody will use low cost ultimates to get the Mage Slayer. That's the thing. Those are the sets. I'm not sure if this Inventor's Guard is this here, this is the War Machine, and this is the Automated Defense. I'm not sure if the Master Architect has another one. I will have to check, otherwise I will add it here. That's basically it about the sets. Maybe there's more, I'm not sure, but because we haven't had access to Cyrodiil yet, I'm not sure if they have also new sets for Cyrodiil. But yeah, some sets I really like when you compare the sets from Homestead to this here, I really like those here a lot more, because in Homestead we had a lot of sets that were just garbage. There were some good ones, or was it One Tamriel? I can't remember, but yeah. I really like most of those sets. You can do quite good like builds, different builds. So some of them are very, very viable. Now again, keep in mind this is the test server, some things still might change. What do you think about those sets? Do you have already some kind of builds in mind? Do you think some sets should get adjusted? Just leave a comment down below, and thank you for watching. If you want, check out another video from the champion points where I explain them a little bit and all that kind of stuff. Now, thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.